Buckle up, everybody, because we're diving deep into some pretty interesting stuff happening over the financial world.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the Chinese yuan.
Specifically.
Yeah, well, more specifically, the offshore yuan.
Right.
The yuan that's traded outside of mainland China.
Right.
And we've got this article from the South China Morning Post
Okay.
from December 19th, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, the title is U.S. Fed's Hawkish Rate Cut Forecast Slams China's Yuan.
Wow.
But here's the thing. The yuan is getting weaker against the dollar.
Yeah.
But at the same time, more and more people are using it for global payments.
Oh, that's right.
How does that even make sense?
Yeah, it is a bit of a head scratcher.
It is.
Like, the article really points to how the U.S. Federal Reserve,
The Fed.
yeah, the Fed, how their recent interest rate decision really kind of messed things up for the yuan.
So the Fed cut rates, and that's what caused the yuan to drop.
Well, they did cut rates, but not as much as everyone thought they would. So they lowered rates by just 0.25%. Okay.
Which puts the target range now at 4.25 to 4.5%.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. They're also saying they only plan to make 2 more small cuts next year, in 2025.
Oh, so the markets wanted more.
Exactly. The markets were really expecting those rates to get slashed.
Yeah.
But when that didn't happen, well, the U.S. dollar suddenly started looking a lot more appealing.
Right. So basically, if I'm an investor
Yeah.
and I see that the U.S. might be keeping interest rates where they are, I'm thinking, okay, my money's probably going to be safer and grow more over there.
Right.
But why does that affect the yuan all the way on the other side of the world?
It all comes down to how currencies compete.
Okay.
When the U.S. dollar gets stronger, like it did after the Fed made their announcement,
Yeah.
the yuan weakens because they're always kind of compared to each other.
Oh, so it's like a seesaw.
Exactly, like a seesaw.
Got it.
One goes up, the other goes down.
And this article mentioned a finance professor, Chen Ziwu, from the University of Hong Kong.
Yeah, I know him. He's a smart guy. And he thinks this trend is going to keep going.
He does. He predicts that the yuan's probably going to keep getting weaker in 2025.
Really?
And he has a few good reasons for thinking that. First of all, he thinks the Fed's going to keep slowing down these rate cuts.
So the dollar is going to stay strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
China's probably going to make bigger rate cuts to try and help their own economy grow faster.
Oh, I see.
So that makes the yuan look less attractive compared to the dollar.
Right, because investors always want the best return on their investment.
Exactly.
And didn't the article also mention something about trade tensions between the U.S. and China?
Yeah, that's another thing Professor Chen brought up.
Oh, right, like those tariffs from a few years ago.
Exactly. He thinks that those tariffs might come back.
Really?
Yeah, which would put even more pressure on the yuan.
Wow.
And there's a chance that China might actually be okay with a weaker yuan if it happens because it makes their stuff cheaper for other countries to buy.
Right, so it helps their exports.
Exactly.
So we've got these rate decisions from the Fed, then we have China's own rate cuts, and then on top of all that, we might see these trade tensions flaring up again.
It's a lot.
It's like a triple whammy for the yuan.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the yuan right now.
And the article actually gave some numbers on how much it's already dropped, right?
Yeah, it said that overnight, the offshore yuan fell to 7.32 per US dollar.
7.32.
Which is the lowest it's been since November of 2023.
Wow.
It just goes to show you how much these global financial things can really have a big impact.
It really is amazing how such small numbers can have such a huge impact around the world.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
But hold on, I think I remember reading something about China's central bank, like they're trying to step in and get things under control.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So what are they doing?
Well, the article said that the People's Bank of China set the daily midpoint rate for the yuan at 7.1911 per US dollar.
What does that mean?
Well, think of it like they're setting a kind of guidepost for the currency.
Right.
And this rate, it was the lowest it's been in 2 weeks.
So they're trying to slow down how fast the yuan is dropping.
Exactly. They're trying to keep things from getting out of hand.
So they're basically saying, whoa, yuan, slow down a bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of wild how everything's connected, right?
Yeah.
Like one country makes a decision and it ripples all the way across the world.
Oh, yeah, it's all connected.
But here's what I don't get. If the yuan is getting weaker, why are more people using it for global payments? Shouldn't they be using something else, something stronger?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd think a weaker currency would mean fewer people would want to use it.
Right.
But the data's showing something totally different.
Oh, so what's going on then?
Well, it might mean that China's economy is just becoming so big and influential that it's outweighing the weaker yuan.
So maybe businesses are using the yuan more just because they're doing more business with China in general?
Exactly. Plus, there's also a chance that China's been pushing the yuan to be used more internationally.
Hmm. I see. So what does all this mean for someone like, I don't know, someone running a small business importing goods from China?
Well, the weaker yuan could mean that those imported goods get cheaper,
Oh,
at
okay.
least in the short term, but it also makes things kind of unpredictable.
How so?
Well, if the yuan keeps going up and down,
Yeah.
it makes planning and setting prices a lot harder.
Well, that makes sense.
And then if you flip it around and you're selling goods to China,
Mm-hmm.
a weaker yuan means that your stuff gets more expensive for Chinese shoppers.
So there are pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely.
So it sounds like the yuan is kind of at a turning point. It's facing some tough challenges, but it's also becoming more important globally.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good way to put it.
And that makes me wonder, what happens if this keeps going?
What do you mean?
Well, what if the yuan keeps having these ups and downs, but more and more people are using it all over the world?
Oh, yeah.
What would that mean for the global financial system?
That is a really good question.
I know, right?
And honestly, there's no easy answer.
It just makes you think, though. What could happen?
It definitely challenges a lot of the traditional thinking about global finance.
It really does, and it'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
Definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for our deep dive today.
This is a good one.
Always is.
It is.
See you next time.
See ya. Bye.